Evening. All right, today we're going to take a look at, well, a deeper look at assault dropships. These things are, well, I love them. I really like them. When I saw them coming into the game, I remember thinking, gotta have them, gotta go for it. And I thought, well, I'll never be able to skill into one for many months. Well, I was wrong, actually. They are actually quite easy to skill into. You literally just need dropship level 3, and then this thing unlocks. Now, oh, where to begin with this thing? This thing is really cool, and I think there's something to be said about a fast, agile, quick dropship. Plus, it tanks quite well also. Now, the thing is, the cost of these is probably the prohibitive thing. They cost, this one actually per unit is, I think, 493k. So $500,000-ish per one is quite a lot, but I've got to admit, I used it maybe 4 or 5 times and last night, and I didn't die once. So this is it, you know, as long as you've got maybe the ability to get the hell out of dodge when you're being hit, they're pretty decent. But they do fly quite differently to normal dropships. As you can see from this, they've got a real ability to get some speed down. In essence, they are a short form of the dropship with a front-firing turret. So the turrets are the same as the side turrets, which, again, you know, it sounds pretty bad. But watch this footage here. I mean, this is probably where a dropship excels. This was really, you know, we had 2 good gunners and myself, and I am in third person. You can go to first person, which is probably more advisable. I'm sticking in third person just so you get a better, you know, viewing experience, let's say, because you're probably more accurate from the first person. But again, here we go. Look at this. Blah, there we go. It's with the right kind of just zoom in slightly there. With the right kind of turrets, this thing is pretty formidable, as you can see. Just, you know, pretty much killing these guys. The splash damage is quite good. The direct damage is exceptionally good, and I think they're not tanks. They're not really. They're not anything that I think is overpowered. I think these things are, it's basically like flying. In the UK we call it a greenhouse, if you know what they are. A glass house is like where you put your plants in. It's where you grow weed in, basically. And one of these glass houses, or greenhouses as we call them, basically this is what a dropship is like. You're flying it incredibly on tenterhooks all the time. If you bash into something, there is a chance that it will kill you. So if you kind of side it into a building, and also if somebody hits you with a forge gun, you're going to have a bad time. And I think this is something to really bear in mind when you're using any dropship, and I think particularly the assault dropship. The CCP have dropped the price of normal dropships down, the militia ones, and they're not bad. They're worth doing. The problem is a normal dropship will probably still die. Sorry, a militia dropship will probably still die to maybe 1 forge gun hit. So you do need to factor that in. Whereas this thing can probably tank 2, and then by that point you're at risk of being shot down. But again, all it really was, there we go, just being hit by something. I think that was a swarm launcher. Swarm launchers are not too bad. They don't do a lot of damage. I mean, this is an armor tanker, so I didn't really need to get the hell out of them, but it's always advisable. When you hit once, you know that the next shot's coming, so you always need to be just, you know, evading as best you can. So fast forward a bit now. Again, you know, this same, you know, different map, same tactic really. This was just, you know, what can the assault dropship do in terms of area denial? Well, it's not bad. It's not a tank. It doesn't have the same, I think, fear factor as a tank, and I think that's because these things are a little bit underpowered. But that's quite common of CCP to bring in something new and make it a little bit weak. It's quite normal. They do that all the time because they don't want to adjust the balance of the game too much. But as you can see from this thing, you know, it's quite impressive in terms of you know, its ability just to get into places. You know, then basically provide a kind of 180 degree of fire, which is really all we did with it. We were just basically supporting our bros on the floor. By just trying to cover as best we could. So here we go. In this particular domination, this is a nice tactic. We've just got a mobile gun platform up here. Now, I would say in terms of turrets, missiles is probably the only option you've got. Railguns might be an option soon, but they're still too difficult to hit with. Just being hit again, but again, just, you know, again, time to evade. This is why I don't lose them. It's just get the hell out. Don't stick around. And they are a difficult thing to fly, I must admit. They've become it's almost like balancing plates. That's how it feels. You're trying to keep it steady for your gunners. You're also trying to get hits from the front, and again, I know I'm in third person, but you know, it's a difficult thing to do. But that's probably why it's quite a rewarding thing to do, because once you start to get the ability to use them, I think they become very powerful. You can basically, you know, keep you know, whole areas basically locked down to a degree. So here we go. Look, these guys are spawned from the MCC, just trying to get some shots on them. Again, not the most accurate thing in the world. Again, I could be missing something, so post in the comments if you fly these things often, but to me this was a blast. I really did enjoy it, and there we go, look. Fantastic. And I think there's something to be said about this particular tactic. I think after all the tank stuff we've done, you know, we're really enjoying vehicles again. I don't think enough people call in vehicles. I think people generally tend to think vehicles are a waste of ISK, which they can be. But again, I would stress I used this dropship, what, 3 or 4 times yesterday, and I didn't lose a single one. As soon as I called in militia dropships, boom, first shot dead. And that was the frustration of these things, is that sometimes, like prototype suits and so on, you maybe need the survivability that they give. Now, that's not true of everything. I think sometimes you have to kind of weigh out how much it costs versus, you know, how many you're going to lose. And I think this thing all in is about 800k ISK. This is an expensive, and it's shit fit as well. That's the beauty of it. I can't use the mouse wheel to activate modules easily, so I have to go with passive fit. How embarrassing is that? But this is the thing of you know, the game at the moment. You just have to you have to deal with it. And I think certainly when it comes to assault dropships, I think they're worth going into. This character I'm on only has, I think, 1.6 million skill points. I could be wrong, but it's very low. So this is literally, again, specialization is the key here. Using your skill points, I can go straight into this with a decent missile, not too bad armor tank, and basically work on it from that point. And I think, yeah, there's something to be said about this kind of play, because you don't need 11 million skill points to compete. If you've got a good tank, if you've got a good suit, if you've got a good dropship, you can compete even if you've got half or even a quarter of the skill points of your opponent, as hopefully shown by this video. So not big point scorers on dropships. You won't get massive kills unless you're really, really good. But generally, you know, they're fun. I must admit, they are incredible fun to play with. And you do get a lot of satisfaction that when you survive a round and you saved your dropship. There's a real good fun about that. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll certainly show some more of these assault dropships, because I'm certainly getting more used to them, and we'll certainly bring you some more footage. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.